Well, it seems like condescension, arrogance, and narcissism has struck again. I mean, go ahead. Every opportunity, seize the moment for praises. We just know how much you love adulation. I mean, but this was next level. You would think at such a momentous occasion where you're having a town hall meeting to discuss the much talked about Polaris project. And guess what? The health minister is absent. Short of personal incapacitation, there is absolutely no reason for the health minister to not be present at such an event. So here we see it again. The PBC boys have no respect for the HHSS boy. He has once again dishonored the HHSS boy. He has carted him off and parked him in a corner. And we all remember how he disrespected and dishonored and made Mr. Phillip Telesford to look like a child for the whole of Grenada to see. But I'm here to say to you, Mr. Phillip Telesford, I don't understand where you would have learned to accept such dishonor and disrespect and disregard. It is quite obvious it would not have been in the walls of HHSS on the playgrounds or in the enclosures of the HHSS. So I can only suspect that this is something or some behavior that was learned subsequently to having exited from HHSS, because we, past pupils of Happy Hill Secondary School, are proud, are strong, are brave, and would not settle for people treating us like that. So I'm here to tell you, Mr. Phillip Telesford, that you have to regain your cojones. You're a man. You're an MP. And you are an equal in Parliament among equals. You should not be disregarded or dishonored. And if such disrespect and dishonor continues, then it seems like your brothers and sisters from HHSS will have to come over and liberate you from such dishonor and disrespect. I want you to understand that in the GSDP, there is a home for you. But, sir, you have to want to liberate yourself first before we can liberate you. Mr. Telesford, this is not who you are, and this is not the example that you should be setting for up-and-coming young leaders from HHSS and young leaders generally in Grenada. Leadership is bold, leadership is brave, and leadership stands up to tyranny. I hate sitting back and looking at this, Mr. Telesford. You know, this irks me to the highest degree. It's like you're sitting there and you're begging charity. You're supposed to be a man of the scriptures, and all more for a reason why you should not allow yourself to be treated like this. It's disgusting. And just on a practical level, you being the health minister should have a very big say in what is going on over here. And I want you to understand, okay, what I have said about Project Polaris being that white elephant, that has not changed. Again, as I have said, I'm happy to see that Perkins and Will has actually put some sense, knocked some sense into that sponsor of Polaris. And I know they're going on the average cost about $1 million per bed, so they have 250 beds. So, it's going to cost 250 million. That may be the case, the average cost to build a structure. But in this particular case, it is not average, even from a construction level. This is a floodplain that you're building on. So design and construction intricacies are going to be different. So guess what? Your designers and your contractors are going to charge you a little more to deal with these intricacies. And that is just the buildings. So as I have said from the inception, this Polaris is going to cost you a minimum of $750 million, okay? Because you'll have to staff and you'll have to put equipment, and there's so much that surrounds establishing this hospital. Okay? And you know what's interesting? A friend of mine sent me something. A gentleman, I think he was actually a hospital manager or something like that throughout the Caribbean and in Grenada. And this gentleman is very familiar with the actual operational aspects of a hospital. So he himself was actually recently trying to warn Grenadians and warn this Project Polaris team, who obviously don't know what they're dealing with, about the consequences of not carefully considering this hospital, and at the same time the implications that may become for the taxpayers of Grenada and the Grenadian people as a whole. Okay? This might be the white elephant that's going to sink us. If proper planning, if proper consideration, if all the stakeholders are not properly involved in this planning process, you're in for a lot of trouble. As a matter of fact, based on listening to this gentleman who is very familiar with the operational aspects of hospitals, you guys should have consulted with this gentleman. But I can only imagine, because the gentleman seemed to make sense, okay? You guys know, as I have said, that this is a Ponzi scheme of sorts. This is an attempt to create an economy for the upper echelons of the NDC.